Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nasdaq Spotlight. I'm your host, Jack Castle, and joining us today is the CEO of Replit, Amjad Masad. Amjad, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So just to level set for the audience, let's start off with you telling us a little bit about Replit and your solutions and the problems you're solving.
Replit is an all-in-one programming software suite in the cloud. When teams of software engineers are building software, typically the tools are very fragmented. You have your editor and maybe your compiler and some other tools on your machine. In the cloud somewhere, something's running the tests. You store the source code somewhere. Everyone has a different environment, and that creates a lot of different issues where the source code is not reproducible. It's really hard to work on things together. There's this problem if it works on my machine, doesn't work on your machine, let alone the production machine. And so we created this cloud native environment where with one click, you create an environment that everyone in the company has access to. And on top of that, we infused all of that with AI tools so that as you're coding, there's an AI assistant that helps you code, answers your questions, in some cases codes for you. And it really makes the entire process of software development a lot less laborious and boring, and really focuses you on the fun, creative aspect of your job.
Yeah, very interesting. I'd love to stay with the AI component of that because I did see that you recently partnered with Google's AI to improve some of the functionality and the solutions there, from suggesting lots of code to completing programs to answering developer questions. So maybe can we share with how the partnership's going and what does this mean for developers on the platform?
It's still very early. We just announced that partnership a few weeks ago, but the progress is very encouraging. Our relationship with Google is one where there's something that we can add to their platform, and there's a lot that they can add to our platform. Just the collaborative cloud software development tool that we provide is something that is going to make Google Cloud customers a lot more productive. And the AI technology that Google has will just make Replit a lot better. Google has amazing AI technology. They've invented the transformer, which is the technology that really changed AI from the ground up over the past couple of years. But I don't think they've deployed a lot of that, especially for developers. So we're going to help them build developer products around these AI technology. And so I suspect in the next couple of months, we're going to have a couple of products on the market powered by Google's AI.
Okay, very exciting. And with the growth of AI, and we're seeing a lot of this, at least in the headline news this year in 2023, you shared a bit on what this will mean for Replit, but what also gets you excited about it, and perhaps what are you worried about with that?
It really changes software fundamentally. It's really hard to overstate that. And I'm someone who hates hype, and I like to focus on the real technical solutions. And in this case, it's something that is really making us rethink software from scratch, because it's not only something that can complete programs and help you do all of that, which is amazing, but it also is a software component in itself, right? So every application will have a generative AI component, whether it's generating media like images and video and text on the fly, or it is generating code on the fly. It'll touch really every aspect of applications, all the way from consumer to enterprise to data processing. And we're trying to build towards that future where AI is infused everywhere. It's not just this chat bot that you slap on. It's really every part of the stack. In terms of what worries me about it, I'm mostly optimistic and excited. I think there's going to be some challenges around security. It's going to be a lot easier to automate, bots that are very sophisticated. We have all these captchas on the internet now, and these are all going to be obsolete pretty soon because the AIs are all going to be able to solve these captchas, no problem. And so it's going to create a new wave of bots-based abuse. But at the same time, that presents opportunity for security companies. Even Replit, we consider ourselves at least part security company because we deal with a lot of untrusted code, and we operate on people's code bases, which is in a lot of cases it's their most prized assets as companies, and so we take security very seriously. And so we're taking this opportunity to harden our systems and make sure we're resistant to this kind of threat.
I see. Well, very exciting, and I hear you on some of those pieces to be worried about. Hopefully, some of those don't come to fruition for us. Amjad, what we like to do, and kind of a final question here on this show, is just ask you, for the entrepreneurs and the founders that are watching, what's a bit of advice that you'd have for them in starting a company in this environment today?
I think every environment has its challenges. In the sort of zero interest rate environment, the challenge was that you had sort of endless competition. Every company gets funded. Your investors are pushing more money onto you. You're going to have to spend more money. It is an unnatural environment in a lot of ways. Today, it's almost the opposite, where there's very little money. Everyone's trying to be scrappy. Everyone's trying to have the best margins and operate more efficiently. And I think actually different kind of founders thrive in different environments. So if you're the kind of founder that is sort of thrives in an environment of abundant capital, maybe this is not the environment for you. But if you're a founder that really knows how to do more with less, it's probably the best time to be starting a company. And I find myself more in that camp. And I'm actually having the best time in my life right now building the company, because it just feels like a more real environment in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe a follow-up there, because I did read that you had just eclipsed 20 million users, which is a significant milestone at scale. Any other bits of advice for founders that are maybe a little further along in the journey as they think about scale and growth in this environment?
Yeah, it's gotten a lot easier to reach a lot of people, over the past few years, just with the growth of the cloud and frankly, tools like Replit that make it easier to write a lot of code and ship a lot of code. I think the challenge has shifted towards a little bit more, how do you make sure that you have a business model that helps you grow sustainably? And we've done a lot of work around understanding our costs, understanding our margins. And again, this is something that sort of Silicon Valley for a while sort of forgot that you had to do. And I think it's no longer really a challenge. I mean, it's really hard to reach massive scale. You have to build something people love. But once you do that, the challenge almost always shift to sustainability and how you can do it in a way that allows you to continue to grow, and that it's not sort of a momentary hype. I think it's important to think about how to build a lasting company and a lasting impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said, and that's great perspective. So I appreciate it. Well, Amjad, thank you so much for joining us today on this show, and congratulations again on your success, as well as being selected to the Enterprise Tech 30 list this year in 2023.
Thank you. I'm very honored by this, and I appreciate it.